All right, I did A and B in the mandatory homework notes video. So if you haven't already watched that, you need to. But I'm going to do C and D here. So we're going to do these just like we did the last two. C is going to be 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 17x plus 30. I'm going to divide that all by x minus 1. One thing that I recommend is drawing in these dotted lines to remind yourself to keep your columns straight, because it can be a problem if you get too messy and end up putting numbers in the wrong spot or putting terms in the wrong spot. So the first thing we're going to check here is how many times does x go into 2x cubed? So again, off to the side, I'll do a little x times what gives me 2x cubed. Well, I'm missing a 2 and I'm missing 2 x's. So 2x squared is what I need there. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times negative 1, that's going to be negative 2x squared. This is where it gets a little tricky because I'm subtracting. I'm doing negative 3x squared minus negative 2x squared. So remember, when you subtract a negative, that's the same thing as adding positive numbers, and that's going to leave us with just a negative 1x squared. And 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. Bring down the 17x. So now we have minus 17x. How many times does x go into negative x squared? Negative x times. So negative x goes up here. X times negative x is going to be negative x squared, so we're good there. Negative x times negative 1, though, is going to be positive x. Now we subtract. So set negative 17x minus x is going to be negative 18x. And negative x squared minus negative x squared is 0. Bring down your 30. So we have plus 30. Negative 18x, and we're wondering how many times does x go into negative 18x? It's going to be negative 18 times. So we'll get negative 18x. Now we have to do negative 18 times negative 1, which is positive 18. And then we just have to subtract. 30 minus 18 is 12. Negative 18x minus negative 18x is 0. So we're left over with this 12. So we will get 2x squared minus x minus 18 plus 12 over, remember our divisor is x minus 1. So that is your answer. Polynomial long division. It takes a little bit of time, but you start to get the hang of it eventually. All right, so if I were you guys at this point, your note off to the side, I might want to remind myself that dotted lines are important, right? Keep things separate in order to keep them neat, otherwise it can become chaos. Anything else that happened there that was surprising to you? Maybe you want to make a note to yourself that when you're subtracting a negative, that's the same thing as adding a positive, so make a note about that. Whatever it is, but that notes column should have stuff in it because you guys are learning as you're going through this, and you don't want to forget the things you're thinking as you're watching this. All right, D is a very special example. I'm going to show you why. So we are doing x to the 4th minus 2x squared plus 1 divided by x plus 2. But I am missing an x cubed term and an x to the 1st term in here. So I'm going to still use those as placeholders, but I'm just going to call them 0 for now. We cannot forget about these terms. Just because they're not written there doesn't mean that they aren't represented by a 0. And again, if I was you, I'd be making some columns. All right. How many times does x go into x to the 4th? That's going to be x cubed times. So x cubed. X cubed times x is x to the 4th. X cubed times 2 is 2x cubed. And we're subtracting. 0x cubed minus 2x cubed is going to be a negative 2x cubed. And over here we'll get 0. Minus 2x squared comes down. All right, how many times does x go into negative 2x cubed? That's going to be negative 2x squared times. Negative 2x squared times x is negative 2x cubed, which is good. That means we did that right. Now we have to do negative 2x squared times 2. It's going to be negative 4x squared. Okay, I'll do the subtraction off to the side. We're doing negative 2x squared minus negative 4x squared. That's the same thing as adding a positive, so it's negative 2x squared plus 4x squared, which is 2x squared. Bring down the plus 0x. X goes into 2x squared. X times what equals 2x squared? That's going to be 2x. So plus 2x. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. Now I have to subtract. That's going to give me negative 4x. Bring down the 1. How many times does x go into negative 4x? That's going to be negative 4 times. So that's going to give me negative 4x. And then when I do negative 4 times 2, I'll get negative 8. Subtracting, that leaves me with 9 as my leftover number. So the final answer is going to be x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 4 plus 9 over x plus 2. And that's your final answer. So now that we've taken care of the notes at home, tomorrow we'll just do a ton of practice on this. I'll give you some more difficult ones. We'll work through some questions you guys have. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow.